Good morning, traders. Welcome to the trading room. We're in the Asian session. We will also be recording this for YouTube, the weekly outlook. So a very quick good morning or good afternoon to my YouTube viewers. If you like what we do, please subscribe to get notification when we put them out and share it with a friend. So we were in this trade from last week, and I hope you guys got it. If you close and re-enter, there was two more re-entry there you should have got. Any flag is a sell setup to the downside. So for YouTube viewers, we will do the majors, we will do some cryptos, and we will do some stocks. If you want the full list of everything that we do here, or if you want anything specific that you're not getting in the weekly outlook, you can join us live. For either as a full-time member, we will be doing a training course starting today. I've already mentioned this many times before. It's going to start this for those who were already in the group. It's starting today. And I hope you guys got your questions prepared, because it will start with a week of Q&A, right? And then we will go. Already 3 sets of recordings for you to look at. So for traders who are on YouTube and who want to know what that means when you join our group, you have 3 different sets of a recording to look at. Those are the training sessions that we did before. It's like 3 separate training sessions, but on different topics, basically. So when you join the group, you get all of that to look at, and then you get live sessions that we'll be doing starting today for the next 6 to 8 weeks. The topic for this training session, and each training sessions are unique by themselves, is filling the gaps, which means my traders will make sure that we fill the gap that they have in their trading for the next 6 weeks. And that means anything it has to do with trading, starting from your analysis to your execution to your exit. Everything that you think you're weak in, or it's not working good for you, or you're missing something, the idea is that in this training, we're going to fill that gap. So if you're one of the person who would like to join us, send me a Skype message. My Skype is in the description. If you can't find it in the description, it's MANGAL457. By the way, this is the only place you're ever going to find me to have about the course. And the only place you're ever going to find me doing anything is in the group. Anything except to that is just a free webinar for you to watch. There are a lot of scammers out there, and a lot of them is using my name, including my photograph, to scam people. We showed it I think about a week back in one of the webinars. You should go watch it. And I think they are also using it not only on Telegram, but on YouTube and WhatsApp and a whole lot of different things, where my name is being used. It's not me. The only place you will ever find me to get training or to follow me or to learn anywhere is in the group, right? So if you see it on YouTube and my voice is not there, even if they're using my voice, the only place you can find me is here. Send me a message here, and then you would know if you're talking to me, right? That's it. Let's go. By the way, if you can't join the full course and you would like to still have access to the live sessions and in the future join the course, send me a message. I'll tell you can pay an installment for the course, which means you're starting to pay now. And when you finish your payment, you will be in the group. You will have lifetime access once you complete the course. With that said, let's move on. All right, so dollar index. If you remember when we started the dollar index on the daily, and if you want to know how we do analysis, and I think there are a lot of traders who are very skeptical about whether wave analysis work and all that. That's normal. To be skeptical is a normal thing. I don't think it's abnormal. We should always be skeptical of everything at any given time, right? So we did this for this pattern. It's already out there for a very long time. And remember, any given piece of this analysis, if there is a structural change, we change the analysis, but we have to show you why and where the structural change happened, right? Because remember, this is forecast. You're trying to say where you think it's going to go. And the reason why you think it's going to go there is because you saw this specific pattern. If that pattern should change, and it doesn't change in a moment, it will take in a weekly or a daily chart, it will take forever to change. So there'll be a lot of time for you to see that change happening or to decide that it might be making another pattern, right? So at some point, you might even see the possibility of more than one pattern developing. And that's pretty normal, because if you have 1, 2, then the possibilities how that can develop is numerous. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'm going to show you what happens here. So remember, the first forecast was that once it gets to the bottom here and break the low, it will go break the top, and then it's going to turn to the downside. That's the first forecast on the very long term. We didn't break the low, for that matter of fact. It's a contracting flat. We did go break the top, and we did drop. So when it dropped, what I said to you, the confirmation that it's actually going to go down is when it makes a daily. We started selling from there, but the idea that this thing could drop a lot, I mean drop and break this low, is if you start to see a daily consolidation here, and then followed by a daily impulse, which means that this could get all the way to the bottom. Now, we've got the impulse, the first impulse, and we started to make the consolidation, and this is where it gets very difficult. There's so many different variations of patterns that can form that while this is happening, you may think one small pattern is it, right? Most traders might look at this and said, okay, that looks like a big consolidation to the downside. We knew that was still part of this one. So we got 1, 2, 3. Here is the problem. We did break the low, but we didn't break the top. So you could have made an assumption that that was all and this is going to drop. And at that point in time, that was pretty okay. That would have been very nice, and you could have made that argument and said, well, yeah, we got it, this is it. And it started to go back up. So when it started to go back up, you do have 1, 2, 3, right? So the argument is, well, is this going to go back to break the top, or is it making an expanding flat? First was a running flat. We thought a running flat possible, that would drop here. Once it breaks the top, you start thinking expanding flat, it will drop here. But the next thing that happens is it started to consolidate to the top there. And that means if it consolidates at the top here, where you're thinking, your thought process should be, well, if it consolidates here, it is going to go up. The probability of upside has just increased a lot. But when it starts to drop like this, and this is rare, where you get a big flat, go back all the way to the top of the impulse, and then start to drop this fast. So when it starts to drop this fast, you have to be open to the idea that maybe it is still an expanding flat. But that is not confirmed. We can't confirm that it's an expanding flat. It's possible, but it's not confirmed. It will only confirm when you break this low. That would confirm there's an expanding flat. And you wouldn't know that until you break the low. That doesn't mean you don't trade it, right? In terms of trading, that's a whole different story. We've been trading up and down in this pattern for a long while. Both sides. The trading is different from the analysis on the higher time frame. Trading you do on the 1 hour. So even if you think it's going to drop here, we can still buy this up. And we did that actually. So what we're looking for here now is, would this continue to drop and break the low? That will confirm total downside. Or is it going to just consolidate here and go back up? It could turn exactly from this point and go right back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to come at a lower time frame and we're going to look for divergence and everything else. And yeah, they're getting some internal divergence here. That doesn't mean anything as yet. We broke the low. What we'll be looking for is what happens here next. If this gives us a very sharp move up and make a flag, we will assume that it's going to still go back to the top because we have got 1, 2, 3. So the assumption that it will still go back to the top is of 80% compared to the idea that this might be a consolidation and drop 20%, right? So if you have to look at it and say, which is the higher probability to happen, the probability of the upside is still higher. What would happen is if this instead goes very slowly, make a consolidation like this did or like that did, and decide to drop, well, then that changes, that switches. Because once it keeps dropping like this, the probability of downside will increase quite a lot. And the deeper it goes into this, the deeper it goes into this impulse, the higher that probability for the downside increase. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be an expanding flat. That will depend on how this goes. If this goes really fast, the expanding flat is what we look for. But if this at any given point stops, and instead of going up fast or going down fast, it actually goes sideways here, and we get a big consolidation here, that changes the whole structure. It means this is going to come here, go back up there, and then we're going to drop. And this would confirm the drop. If you get this, that would confirm the downside, because by the time this breaks and come to the bottom here, the chances are we might even break the low, or we'll just come here and then go back up, but that makes a huge flat for downside, and this would be a smaller flat within the impulse. Now, if everything I just said didn't make any sense to you, it means you have to learn wave analysis, right? This is something you have to learn, how to identify patterns, how to figure out how they develop and how to understand it. I think almost all my traders should pretty much follow everything I just said there with no gaps in it, because that's just the analysis. Now, what we're going to do with all of that, how we're going to trade all of that is a whole different story, right? So now we're going to go into me showing you my views for the day. So the view that I'm going to show you right now as to where I think or what I think this is going to do is probably valid only for today. So by this afternoon, that view might change. And it's not changed because, oh, he's wrong, so he's getting a change. Change because there's a pattern change in it. What we assume it's going to do because we're making forecasts, so what it actually does, right? That is why you make forecasts. Anybody can trade hindsight. And I think all the geniuses and YouTubes are the ones who can trade hindsight, right? They'll come and show you, oh, well, this is what happened, and that's what we did. I'm not going to show you what we did because what we did was excellent last week. I think last week was a good week. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Trading is about what you're going to do, not what you did. Because what you did yesterday has nothing to do with what you're going to do tomorrow. Right? So can you show me what you're going to do tomorrow? So that's what we're going to show you. Go in the 1 hour. And right now it's dropping. So there is no trade. There was a trade. There was a sell setup. We were expecting it. And again, if you remember anything from what I told you, you would know why we think this is going to drop. If you remember anything from what I just did in the weekly analysis, you would know why that should drop. If you didn't figure that out, well, then you didn't learn anything from what I just told you. So this was expected to drop. It stopped. We have divergence. Here's what we're going to expect to do. It's going to do one out of two things. It's going to start to consolidate again. That means it's going to drop. We will sell. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually does this. Make a flag and go up. And in that case, we will buy it. So which one out of these two is going to happen? A flag or an impulse and a flag? We'll see. That will depend on the trade, right? As of now, both of those are possible. So what we're going to do here, wait. If you're in the trade, you'll move your stop and wait. If you're not in the trade, you just wait. Silver, let's see. Silver actually went up. It broke out of this structure. And now it's at the top there. So we were showing you the silver pattern, and we're telling you, the way this could develop. And we're still in this one. And like I said, if it stays at the top there, we would expect it to go up. It doesn't mean that it's going to go up. We're expecting it. This could still come back all the way here. And this could continue to do this for a very long time. And then go up. Eventually, this still goes and break the top. How long that takes? Well, that's an unknown factor. Could take forever. And I mean, it could take 6 to 8 years to happen. Sometimes 10 years. This consolidation here could stay for as long as you can imagine. Longer than most of you would be a trader. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out every piece of it and how we trade it. This is not very impulsive. This is definitely a correction, which means this one will eventually break out to the upside. Whether it breaks the top or not, we'll see. Can it come down first? That's a possibility. So we were trading this one up to go and break this top, and that happened already. So now that it break the top, it has to tell us if it's going to break out of this structure completely. Right? Are we going to break out of that structure, or are we going to come back to the bottom? That means you go to the 1 hour and you wait to see what happens at the top area. What happens at the top area is, this was supposed, Friday I wasn't in my room, so you can see this was Thursday or Friday morning thing. We were expecting this to go here and come there. Instead, it went above the top. Nothing is wrong with that. That means you'll be looking for an expanding flat here, most likely. Or there is a contracting flat in here, and this is the top of the structure. What would be the difference? Well, it's simple. Let me show you how you would identify that. There was nowhere you're going to buy that. And there wasn't any good trade there. So once it breaks this low, if it makes a flag, you go for the sell. So if my traders had sold there Friday, that was a good sell. You would close and re-enter, which means you would close that trade already by rule, and you'd have an entry to sell here. There's a very good chance that this consolidation here is going to drop, which means we will take this as a smaller flat of its own. 15 minutes correction. See that? This will be a 15 minutes correction. That's the up move. This looks like it's going to drop. That's a sell setup. If you're going up, you do not have a buy. There's no buy setup in this. So there was a small one here. That would be a close and re-enter by rule. Right? And now we're going to see, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours there already. You shouldn't be in that trade anymore. We're looking for a sell setup. So as of now, we expect this. to go down. That down move doesn't necessarily have to go very far, right? It could be that they're still consolidating here, that they might just drop, do this, and start to go back up, come back here, and then go out of the structure. Or it drops like this. And because of that, we will take the trade. Both are possible. So we will take the trade and we'll see which one comes up. In the case that it drops here, and we know that in the case that it drops here and start to do this to go back up, well, we'll exit. This would be your first impulse down. I wouldn't probably go with an expanding flat like that. But even if it's an expanding flat, it stays here too long, we get out of the trade, wait for a flag, buy it. Right? The lower this goes, the more we will still look for the buy, either as a correction or as an impulse to the upside. So right now it looks more downside. That would be a sell setup. And like I told you, we were buying it, we were selling it, right? This was a sell setup for if this piece is going to go deeper into it. That didn't trigger. Take that off. There would be a buy above this top here, which we don't have there now, and then we'll see. So let's see where this goes. As of now, it's an active sell setup. It's a setup, doesn't mean that it's going to go, but that's an active trade. Gold. Same here, gold actually broke out. We didn't break, we broke out slightly of this, but this trend line is useless because this is too small, and that means we're not thinking expanding flat anymore. We'll put this as a smaller correction within this move down. And now we wait to see what happens here. Because all we have is one piece and one piece here. So this doesn't have any sign of anything. This was a smaller correction of its own. I think we could put this as a small contracting flat. This was a small one. If you took that, you'll close it. So if this is the first impulse up and it comes back to the bottom, go back up there, we'll get a flat here for the sell. Right? If this is consolidating right to the top here and then going back up there, we'll wait for it to come back here. And then we'll go for the buy. Pretty much like this, right? And then you go for the buy. This was a buy. This was a buy because this was going to go up, right? This was a buy. So we get this buy, we get this one, and then we'll see what happens here. If it makes another flag, we get a buy again. So right now, if it comes to the bottom, make a flat, we sell. If it makes a flag, let it go up, let the impulse come back, and then we look for the buy. So we don't have a trade right now. This broke the top. If you're looking to trade it, I think Friday you guys could have got a buy set up in here when this starts to go up, break out of this. This was not the buy. That was showing you the top that it broke. So we're at the top here now. What is the bigger picture? Looks a lot upside, except for this piece, right? We're in this move and we're making a really deep pullback into it. That by itself doesn't mean anything. The depth of that pullback as of now doesn't mean it's going to take off. But if it stays in this range, it's still downside. If we keep making flags, we will probably go break the top. Would we put that as an expanding flat? I think so. But this one is less of an expand, structurally it's less of an expanding flat than the dollar index. So there's a higher probability for this to drop, which means take this out. That wasn't a buy, that was a top. The buys were from here going up. The buy was above here. So what we would look for now is a sell setup. If you're going to get a buy here, we do have divergence. So if we're going to get a buy here, you want to see a flag and we will take it with caution. If we get a flag here, we'll buy. That will take about 4 or 5 hours from now before you actually get a buy setup. And we will take it with a lot of caution because we do have divergence, right? For the first time when you break that top, we didn't get divergence here. Now we have it. So that means that this could either come back really deep and then go back up, make a bigger flat here and then go back up, or a big one like this, and then we go back up, or we're coming down. So let's see, the sell setup would be the biggest, the higher probability here, but you need it to drop. You need this to drop. You need to make a flag, and then we'll go with the sell. In any case, any trade here would take you about 4 to 5 hours. Because if you're going to buy here, you're not buying a 15 minutes flag. You're buying a 1 hour flag. That will be about 4 or 5 hours minimum, right? So there is no trade here anymore. If you're in the buy, just move your stops and stay with it. Pong. Did we break the low? We were expecting it to come, break the low, and then go back up. Let's see. We did break the low. So this one dropped, break the low, go back up. This was a sell to break the low only, and then go back up, and you had a perfect buy setup here. This would have been the perfect buy setup. I don't know how many of you took it. That's probably Friday. Yep, I wasn't there. No, that is actually this morning. Oh, no, that's Friday 17th. So I wasn't there yet. This would have been a good trade. I hope you guys took that trade. The chances are we might still break the top. Right? The chances are we might still break the top. I don't think we're still going to consolidate in here. we might break the top even before they come back. If it's going to drop, it will likely tag the top before it drops. I don't see this being part of the consolidation. There's no need for it. It could be, but there's no need for that. So this one, if you're in the trade, move your stop, stay with it. The chances are it will still slowly climb, break the top, and then if it's going to turn, it's going to turn from there. If you get a flag here, should you buy it? Well, it's a pretty risky one, but you can take the chance because we know we have to break that top at least. So that would be a good chance to see if it breaks the top. If this starts to come down from here, that means we're stuck here for a long time, sideways. We don't break that top, we're stuck in a bigger flat. Maybe some of this, right? And the bigger one like this. This might be part of that bigger one. We don't know that. Depending on how it comes, what you get here, if you get this and then you get that, and then you come back here and this becomes a big flat like that, then going up there and coming back here might give you this, because all of that is in here, right? So might give you this and then go back up. We'll see. It could stay here for a long time. It could get really confusing. So right now we can look for both sides. This sell would be easier because all you need to do is drop, make a flag, and we start selling. The buy would be harder because it needs to make a flag here, and then the risk is still they might break the top and come back. But we will still take it. So most of the trades are open for both sides at the moment. Since we're still in those consolidation, we're still in a big sideways move here. It's not confirming upside or downside as yet. It's just confirming you're still in here. And anything is possible. So let's wait and see which side we get. And there's no setup in any one of them. Aussie, same thing, no setup. Aussie definitely starting to look like a bigger consolidation here. We thought that from this bottom we were going to go up. And that would likely be a nice thing to do. But remember, this one actually went up really slow. This one went up with a lot of very deep pullback. So these pullback might be normal, right? Look at this one is probably the equivalent of this. And I'm not sure that they don't pull back again. They don't pull back again to the bottom here and then go back up. So maybe it's just going up really slow. And this is the start of the upside. We don't know that. This one is relatively sharp with a small flag in there. I wouldn't be surprised if we repeat that. Right, with this inside here, if they actually drop back like this here, we'll go with a running flat for upside. Right, depending. Oh, can it drop to the bottom? I don't think this is all the correction for that to happen, especially in a corrective structure. It likely will come here, go back up there, and then from this point, either drop or continue to go up. Those are the two options. By all means, let's look for a sell setup. We have divergence. We have everything in place. It broke the top. It's looked like it's trying to come down back. Go to the 15, find a flag, sell it. You can sell a 15-minute flag here. So let this come back here, prove it's making a flag, wait for the flag. If you don't wait for the flag, you end up getting this. And then it's one more up, right? If you don't wait for the flag, you get that. This would have been a perfect buy setup, by the way. I hope some of you got that trade, right? At least to break the top and then take the profit. Right now, we wait for it to go back, close the trade. If it's making a flat here, we buy again. If it makes a flag here, we sell it. So most likely, I think they sell. I would say wait for a flag to sell. That's the first thing we're going to get, right? The first thing we can get here is the flag for the sell. If it's not the flag for the sell, the flat for the buy would take longer. So let's go with the flag for the sell first. And this didn't break the top. Now this is a dilemma. The first one broke the top. This didn't break the top. What the hell is happening? If all comes down, we're in trouble because this didn't break the top. Contracting flat. I hate that idea. Let's see. If it gives a sell setup, we'll take it. It would have been better if it broke the top and then give us a sell setup, right? And this one, again, the pullbacks are pretty deep. This one is sharp, so there's no way we're going to go with a running flat here, unless this actually breaks the top like this. And we go with 1, 2, 3, come back here, give us this one, then that would make sense, right, if we get that. So let's see what happens here. They go break the top, or they start to come down and making this more confusing for us. Well, I mean, more complex, not confusing. Confusing is for other traders. I just want to say it's going to be very complex here. So wait for this, go to the 15. If it gets a flag, it needs to come down a lot, then make a flag. Because see, they kind of, these smaller flags here, they don't go anywhere. So I'll be more cautious with this. The better sell would be actually, it could be a running flat forming here for upside, by the way. If you put they have a small flat here, so if this kind of come here and then go back up, we might consider the buy even. So let's see. Let's just wait and see what it gives us. Swiss. We expect this to go down a little more, and it did. We do have divergence now, finally. So the question is, are we going to get a running flat? That is this one, because we have this in here. So the chances are this turn to the upside. Everything, Aussie, New Zealand, everything looks downside. I wouldn't be surprised. This is almost a guaranteed one, right? This would be the easier trade to take because we structurally have everything in place. So should this turn and give you a buy setup, go for it. If you're in the sell, and you should probably be in the sell, there are many chances of getting into the sell. Move your stop, stay with it. If you're not, just wait for it to give us a buy setup. Don't sell it here. If you're going to sell here, you're going to sell a flat. Yen drop. This is an easy one. I think some of you got it. So this one is easy. It makes another flag and drop. Yen is doing its own thing. It doesn't necessarily have to follow everything else. All right, when yen starts to move, it could move on its own. It's not necessarily a dollar movement. It's a yen movement. So any flag you get, you sell. For the buy setup, we actually broke this. Right? So it's not a running flat. It could be an expanding flat if we take this to be part of it. That's an expanding flat. And that means we'll have to come back with this one, matching it with this, which, no, I don't like that. It's possible. I just don't like it. So let's wait and see which one is it. Can we bring this back to match it with this one? That is a possibility as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. And this one is going to be a 1, 2, 3 to the top. Also doesn't make sense, right? This running flat makes more sense. So, and coming here, breaking, coming back to the low and going back confirms everything we want. Any flag we sell, if we're going to get a buy setup, it will have to be a really good one. Right? If we get a flag, you take it. What if we get a spike like this and then drop again? That's possible. Right? So if we get a flag to buy, we'll take it. We'll look at it, take it. But most likely you want the sell setup. CAD? Okay, this one seems to be doing something. I still think the upside is what we're looking for. But this is pulling back pretty deep into this one. So are we getting a more complex flat than we thought we were going to have? That is possible. Let's see. Either we're getting a more complex expanding flat here, or this whole flat is becoming more complex by itself. Because if this should go back up there, break this top and come back here, that just leaves you with this. 1, 2, 3. Go back up, come back here, and then you get this one for the upside. Right, so that's possible because this one didn't break the top and this one might not break the low. And that leaves it open for a more complex flat pattern. Let's see, go back to the 15. Okay, this has to pull back and drop too. Unless we think there is a smaller expanding flat in there, then this here seems like it's going to probably go back there and drop. If it does that, we would trade it as a running flat. This is a smaller version in here. I don't think the expanding flat is that. So if this pulls back, let's look for a sell, at least from the top here. So this one you want to probably stay out if you don't get a clear thing, because it's not, we are not clearly breaking any lows or top. We didn't break this low, we didn't break that top, we didn't break this low, we didn't break that top. We're still in the middle here. So we wait some more on this one. Euros, the sell is good. The first one would have probably taken you out here. The second one you could forget here. This is a nice one. It is a good sell. We haven't broken the lowest yet, so I still think one more down before it goes. Or we get one more down and then we'll be looking for the upside. Looks like we still will go up. They came back all the way to the top, so you can make an argument that this is making a flat here. So probably come here, go back up one more, break the top, and then come down, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That makes sense. So if it comes here, break the low, and we get that buy setup, we can go with it. Can we sell it? Let's say we have a sell setup. Maybe not. This was a good sell. There's not a really great sell. If you get a good flag, we would consider it. If it makes a flag here, you can consider one more drop. Yeah, that should make sense. Go with it. Put a stop somewhere here and see if we get this straight. It could probably come even lower before it goes. We don't know how low it's going to come. I don't know how big it's going to be, but a lot of caution if you're going to sell it. The buy is what you'll be looking for. So we can let it finish what it's doing and then go for the buy. You go for the buy from here. The buy would be a better trade. Euro in New Zealand also didn't break the top. And 2 sharp moves. So yeah, we'll be stuck here for a flat. Look for this, probably come back here. And then the upside. Most likely, I think there will be a flat in there. So we can look for the buy setup short term, look for the sell, and look for the buy again. Take the buy. I don't think it's going to take off, but we'll take it and see how far it goes. Something like this here, and then go up. Let's see. I don't think we're coming back here because that would make a really, really complex pattern. This is sharp and this is sharp. So if we start to make a correction in here that comes back to the low, we'll be stuck here for a long time. You're in? Okay, that was a really sharp pullback. Not something expected. And it doesn't look like they're trying to go up to the top. Otherwise, we will bring it to this one. If that was going up to the top, or if it still goes up to the top, we will go with this running flat. I will go with this as a running flat. Because we were expecting that from this point or from anywhere, right? It didn't happen. This has to really prove it's going to go back up. They've done that before, right? Where they pull back really sharp. See this one? And this pull back deep into it, and then they just take off. So is it going to be the same thing here where they take off and go break the top? Well, we'll see. If that doesn't match anything, I think the closest you could have gone is a contracting flat with this piece. Let's see if we get a similar thing here. We don't have a trade, is it? I'll take that running flat off. I don't want this to bias us on this. We can't confirm it until it breaks the top. But if it breaks the top, we'll confirm. As of now, there isn't any trade. If we're going to sell, we need a flag. And then we go for the sell. Right? We'll assume that's a lower degree correction. And if we're going to buy, it needs to go up, make a flag, come here, come back, and then go. So can we take this trade or should we wait for this one? We'll see where we get the flag first, and then we'll decide on that. You're okay. Okay, close, break even. One more up, which means the running flat is getting, the expanding flat is getting really big because it looks like we're going to break the top again. All right, this one is another one here. And it looks like, sorry. It looks like we're going to break the top and then turn. We still look for the sell setup. It doesn't matter how much more it goes. The same thing was happened on the downside. So this might be a small flat that will probably go break the top. We need to break that top. Let me see if we broke it already. If you break the top already, the sell would not be a bad idea. No, we didn't. So wait for this to come up here, come back, and then break the top. This one is going to be a buy. It would probably just go there. Come here, give you a buy setup, break the top, and then we start looking for the sell. Can we buy it? Well, you can buy it. You have to be able to get out of it really quick. Should it not go, right? So the bigger picture downside. That doesn't change. It doesn't matter how much more it goes. Even if we break this top, we'll go with expanding flat if we break the top. But I don't think we're breaking that top. We did break the low, right? So it's 1, 2, 3. As of now, this is an expanding flat. The entire structure will be an expanding flat if we're to break this top, or running flat if we're to break that top. So this one is expanding, but this one is 1, 2, and 3, and that will be regular because we haven't broken this top. But if it goes and break that top and then come here, it will either be a running flat with this one, or it will break the low of this, and then be an expanding flat with that one to the upside. So either way, wait for this sell. Let's see how if we get any buy there, but we're looking for the sell. Just like this one, when we broke the low, we're looking for the buy, which we eventually got. The sell is a safer trade to stay with. Once we get the sell, and you can put the first one to break even and it survived the break even, you can stay with every other trade that you add. Because we know now it's going to go down. All right, so let's see if we can get the first one and keep it. It's going sideways. I will let it go up some more and then look for the sell. Your pound? Okay, take this off. It's no longer a sell. This was the sell of this flag. It actually made a big flat. It actually went up, broke the top. They made this flat. I'll go with this flat here. Or we're still in the correction. That's a contracting flat. We could still be in the correction. I think we let it go up. Don't buy at the top there. Let it make one more high and start a drop, and then we go for the sell. Sorry, guys. So what we're keen on is getting the sell at least back to the bottom of the channel and then see if it goes back up. Right. So right now there's no trade there. Pangos. This one went pretty high. It didn't go up all over. So can we assume that we're making a bigger correction here for upside? One more. I think we can do that. The same thing like the euro was with this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then come down. So yep, I think we can look for that upside. Right? We already broke this low, so there's no sell setup there anymore. Wait for the buy setup. Can it drop a little more? Probably, but let it drop. We wouldn't be looking for any sell unless we get a really good flag here that says big impulse to the downside. Right now, this is a reversal back to the top. So the trade, we should be looking like this one. 1, 2, 3 down. 1, 2, 3, and this one is more corrective in there. I think we should look for upside. Expect this to go break the top and then drop. Right, break this top and then drop. This one is more corrective than this, but they both have three-wave structures. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, so I will at that point, Pongos, I'll leave it. We'll go do some. We'll skip all of that. We'll go to some of the indices. Let's take a look at oil, US oil. That drop was good. This one never dropped. It actually went up. There was a flag, but we didn't go with the buy there. I don't know if you guys took the buy on Friday, because it turned out to be more of a flat here, a small flat here for upside. Let's assume you didn't worry with that. Come here. Is it reversing? Let's go see. That's a good sharp up move. So that sharp up move will win one of the two things. We're going up now. Remember, we thought this one could go up. We're going up now to break the top. That's one option. Let's put it here. Let's just bring this down a little. We're going up now to break the top. And I mean break the top. That should be it. That's one option. The second option is you're making a bigger correction like this and you're going to drop some more. Do we have divergence? We do have a lot of divergence. And I mean between this one and this one. We also have internal divergence here. So the upside seems more possible. Right? The first move up is this. Now what you need is a flag here. And we're buying that. Should it come back all the way to the low? It's a buy, but it's only a buy for a flat downside. So because we have divergence, I think this buy is going to be to the upside. So this one we can wait for a flag and buy. This one is almost confirmed. Just wait for a flag and buy. Go to the 1 hour, wait for a flag, wait for something that's worth buying, not the smaller versions anymore. Okay, this was a small one, this was a small one, this was a small, wait for the bigger flag. And then we buy. So these cells were good, take them off. You're out of those cells already. Let's see if we get a buy setup. US 30. Okay, you're getting a very good sell setup here. Take off this. There was a buy here we had before I leave on Friday. I think there was a buy here. Pretty much you'll see what you would have done, right? Worst case break even, mostly you close it in here. It wasn't going anywhere. So break even, that's a 15-minute channel, right? This here is like a 15-minute, more of a running flat on the top, sorry. This had a 15-minute flag here, a small running flat, made a top reverse. Now we're looking for a sell setup. And I don't think it's ready, but we should put it because this does that sometime where you don't get this piece. You kind of do this, drop, pull back a little, and then drop without giving you a very big move, right? More like a running flat like that. So we can take the trade. If this comes back pretty high, then we'll decide what to do. Selling this in here, maybe you could go with this. So that by the time it breaks the low, you can get it to break even. Put it here for now. It's going up some more, probably will break this top. You don't want it to go too much to the top. You want it to literally like do this. Drop here, it should drop here, go back up there, then come. Keep a stop above the top. Right? Because if it tags you here, you can get out, you'll get out. What if it's a running flat and it's a long drawn out running flat? What is an extended running flat? Then we'll miss the trade. So I say we put the end short and see where this goes. What's the bigger picture? Correction? Most likely. A deeper correction like this, 1, 2, 3. Should this work its way back to the top like that? All the way back to the top here, like this one? We probably wouldn't sell it. I didn't think we sold this. We didn't sell that. We were actually let it drop. And then we look for the buys. So we could do the same thing here. Right? Should it go back to the top, we'll just ignore it. We wouldn't sell it. We'll let it drop and then we look for the buy. But right now it looks more like a flat forming in this range for downside. You have an impulse here, you're getting a correction within this range. So everything should stay within this range. Downwards, if anything, it's going to be running flat, which means the same thing here. Not exactly. This is different. See, this one first, I didn't think we even broke the top. Nope, we didn't. So that is different. This one is totally different. See, we broke the top, we dropped. This is still in the consolidation. So whatever it's doing here is just a bigger flat. That could come down, but that's a bigger flat. So we stay away from this. Let's see this one. Sell setup. This one has a better sell setup. You've got a nice little flat here. You drop, and now you're making a bigger one. And we already have 1, 2, 3. We have a complete flat, actually. Right? You have this one. You have that. You have this. You got the up move. You got the up move. You got a complete flat. This could totally drop. Put an entry under the low. Keep a stop above this stop. If it is making a bigger flat for upside, if we're making a bigger flat for upside, it will have to come and break this low. And most likely will even make a smaller correction inside of that. So if we make a small correction here, if under 15 you realize it's making a small flag here, we could sell that flag. So by the time it breaks the low, we get it to break even. Right? So use that flag. You'll have a better risk to reward trade. Right now, it's not a flag as yet, but this could literally go back up and, become more complex there. Let's see how that behaves. Right now, it's a sell setup. It's an active sell setup. Tesla? Okay, if you managed to close that, you closed it. If you didn't, you should have managed to close it, at least at break even. If you didn't, this one will come back here, close it, and wait for the bigger flat. It's making a bigger flat for downside. And let's see some cryptos. Bitcoin. Okay, I mean, if you bought this, you probably close it and then re-enter it. It's going up. Take this off. It's not actually going up the way we thought it would go up, like really aggressive. It's going up really slow. Starting to look more like it's going to make a more complex flat here. This looks more downside right now than upside, although we're expecting it to go up. So take this off. This might become a more complex pattern than we think. Take this off as well. And take this off. This whole piece might be a much more complex pattern, especially if this should drop. On the upside, I think we wait and see. If we're going to buy this, you need this to go either start to break the top and make a flag, and then that buy would be okay, or make a flag here and then you buy this flag to see if it takes off. Right? Because right now, this could be a more complex pattern. We might end up with this being an expanding flat in here. And this one dropping here, probably making a more, another flat, go back up. This could stay here for a long time. Because this piece should have gone up really fast. Because it's going up slow, we'll have to wait and see. So, but the entire consolidation, this range is still upside. It's just a matter of when does that consolidation finish. Right? Because right now, this whole piece is consolidating at the very top. PH. Okay, this one didn't break out. It came down one more, make a new low. It looks like upside. This is a good buy setup here. At least back to the top. Right, that's a good buy setup, back to the top, and then we see what happens. Let it come back here. Maybe it breaks out now. It will break that top. It will probably get above this top, and then from there, we were expecting it to drop, right? We're in this big structure. Okay. They come here, drop. Go to the top. Drop. There's a good chance it go back to the top, drop again. Right, take this up. So this structure here is slightly different on some charts, because this one and some of them, this didn't break the low. This one is the flat, and this is the low, and this is a very sharp move going, which means that it's still a sharp move, pretty much like this, right? So it depends on which chart you're looking at and which pattern you're looking at, and some of them it broke the low, some of them it didn't break the low. It's irrelevant at the moment. It's relevant for the patterns in here, but it's irrelevant to the bigger structure. So once we're here, we still have to expect them to come back here. Let's see. And I think we have divergence to support that. Yeah, there's divergence in the chart to support that. The downside. Absolutely, see? So this one, and this one, I think you have divergence between these two too. Yep, pretty much there. So keep this one. This is the one we're interested in. It looks downside. XRP. If you sold, you should have closed it. I'm on the daily. Actually, I think that's more than a couple hours consolidation there. That's a lot of consolidation. Enough time to get out and decide that, okay, let's look for this bigger one. That's a bigger flat for downside still. So you'd wait for this to come back here and then go back up and get this one, and then we'd look for the sell. That would be a downside trade. So you're looking for a sell setup here. It's not there as yet, but most likely you can leave it here for now, but the idea is that it's more of a sell setup. So this one was there. I think you go with this is solid flat because this one went up, make a flag here, and then took off to the upside. Make a flag here and then took off to the upside. So this was all the flat. This was a slow move up. Drop, make a consolidation here and drop again. That's more downside. Let's see this one, 88. We did make a top here, so if they want to drop, this has to be very corrective. It's not very corrective, actually. They broke this, that would have been a break-even trade. It didn't go anywhere. And now we're just going sideways. Can we retest the top? Possible. This could be a correction, it retests the top. Do I think it's going to take off? Let's see in the big picture if that is possible. I think very unlikely. It's not impossible. Remember, we didn't break this low, right? This move didn't break the low, but it's with all this consolidation at the bottom here, the most likely thing is we will retest the low. Can it make one more high and then retest the low? Yeah, that's possible. Remember, the line is just giving us an idea as to what it's doing, right? Doesn't mean that it can go higher. So there's a good chance it could go above that top and then drop. Would we look at this as a bigger consolidation in here, a bigger running flat? Why not? We could always go with this as a possible 1, 2, 3, making this 1, 2, 3, and this one a 1, 2, 3. This could go back, break the top, and then come back here. So if you're getting a flag here for a buy and make sure it's a really good flag, that would be upside short term, really short term. Any buy in here is pretty dangerous. If you want to buy to let it break out of the top, consolidate, prove more upside, and then you buy. Most likely look for the sell. Okay, this is consolidating here. It's coming down slightly. This is slightly down. I don't think it's a total drop. It might be just a big consolidation there, right? This is the low, so this is just a bigger consolidation for upside. Most likely, it will stay in this range and then go up. Dash. This is downside. This thing is really flat. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually drop to the low and then go back up. This is giving you an opportunity to buy when it breaks this low. If and when this drop here and break this low, it's an opportunity to buy here to the upside. Right? Every time they break the bigger lows, it's an opportunity to buy unless it collapses. Now, if we're going to trade with the assumption that all of them can collapse, then you wouldn't trade, right? You'll have to take that risk that at any given time, any of these could collapse. So go across here, do this, making another flat here, and that means this is upside, right? This one is upside, go to the 1 hour. We're in this flat. It's probably going to go up some more. You can see that there's upside there. This one is upside, come here, and then probably come back here and then go. We're not ready for the upside as yet, but it's consolidating in this range. I'm not sure where we put this one. We'll have to figure that out. We don't have anything for that as yet. Not at the back, maybe somewhere in front, we'll see. And let's see this one. Oh, this one is downside. This could be a flat though. See? Could end up being a flat one, especially if it goes higher, come here and then more upside. Yeah, this could actually be more upside too. This is the lowest point, I think. Let's go back to the 4 hours. Yep, that's the lowest point. This one has been moving really nice. So if this goes here, it come like this and then drop here. That's just a flat for upside. Trade that with care. So guys, I'll leave you with that. For all the YouTube traders, I hope you enjoy what we do, and I hope you like what we do, and I hope this can help you improve your trading. If you think this is something can help you improve your trading, send me a Skype message, and I'll give you the details how you can join us live every day, twice daily. And that is if you join the installment program. If you join the full group, you get training, you learn how to identify patterns individually, and you get to do everything by yourself, and you get to be trade with the group 5-6 times a day. Well, it depends on how often the traders come in. Right, when I came in this morning, they were already there. And when I leave, they will still be here. So with that said, let's go. I'll stop the recording.